Did you see the picture I posted of my messages area with the? I've overflowed the messages app.
Yeah, I think I did see that. The one that you said doing my best for Teachy impression.
Yes.
Oh my god! Do you know I didn't even notice what it was? So you're talking about the thing you highlighted. Is that the scrolling thing for all the different apps?
Yeah, it overflows the borders of the area.
Oh my god.
Which I know Federico's done too.
It's going to be a mess for a while.
Yeah, well, I don't think that I'm unique in the sense that, I mean, yes, I have a ton of betas on here. The thing is that when you look at, if sticker packs become popular, I think a lot of people are going to overflow that. And I'm a little surprised that they haven't found a way to scale that. It really should. I mean, it's a nice indicator, but there should be like a limit to it, you know?
Yeah.
So that at some point it just doesn't get bigger and you just still swipe back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, because they've made it as easy as humanly possible to make a sticker pack. You pretty much just drag the images in, right?
Yeah, that's the easiest.
So there's going to be loads. I mean, this is the ad blocker thing all over again. Like, because those are really easy to make as well. And stickers are even easier than that.
Right.
There is going to be. I mean, you've got obviously, as you say, loads of betas, but there's going to be thousands of these in the store.
There are a couple ways to do sticker packs. You can do it as an actual app, or you can do it, as you said, where you just basically, you have to use Xcode, but all you're really doing is dragging in images, PNGs, or there's a bunch of different formats it supports. It supports normal PNGs and animated PNGs, and there might be one or two others. But yeah, so there's a couple ways of doing it. But the reason to do an app, I guess, is if you want to have things like you can build in-app purchase into it and that sort of thing. You know, like here are your 20 stickers, and if you use this in-app purchase, you'll get these bonus stickers, that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, that's going to be fun.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. I don't know. It's I've been torturing people with them. They're really I'll tell you, they're really awful on the Mac because the Mac doesn't support them at all. So what you get, because these are pretty high resolution images, you just get a giant image. So say like I had a picture of you and I put a little top hat and bow tie on you, sticker, as you do. It would on the Mac it would just show the photograph of you, and then below that a top hat, and then below that a bow tie.
Does somebody need to phone Apple and remind them about the Mac?
Yeah,
remind them that that's the thing that they work on.
It's actually even worse in the sense that if, say I posted that picture of you, and then you and I had a conversation, and then I went back and put the stickers, because you can go back up in the conversation and put the stickers on. If I then go back up and put the stickers on at that point, then you've got photograph of Robb, conversation, random top hat, random bow tie, you know?
That sounds terrible.
And they're big. I should send you a screenshot because I was showing Federico the other day how awful it looks.
Right. So when I've got iOS 10, I'm gonna have to just block your number on iMessage. Is that?
Well, I've been trying not to. I kind of know who of my friends are on iOS 10 and not. So I on purpose haven't done that to you. But it is pretty bad. I mean, I sent a couple to Mike Hurley, and he's split. He's on 10 on his iPad, and so that's cool. But if he looks at it on his phone, it looks miserable. Here, I'll send you. Where's that? Okay, you know, I'm a Skype newbie here, or at least I'm acting like I am. So I'll send you this. Send you this screenshot.
It's just not your fault. We've only done 28 episodes.
Yeah, I know. Well, I know how to hit record. That's about it. Did you get it?
It says you type in, so it's probably coming through.
Oh, there it goes. Oh, now we've made noise.
That's fine. Let's have a look at this picture then. I don't know where it's gone.
So you're about this
is top notch podcasting.
Yeah.
Yep, that looks completely terrible.
Yeah, so that's there was a picture there of I don't even remember. I think it was me and Federico, and he put some Donald Trump hair on me, and I put an afro on him. As you do, right?
So basically, all you've got here is Federico. It looks like he's just sent you the Trump hair, and then it looks like he sent you, or you sent him an afro. I mean, that's
right. Just kind of random, floating in space, right?
Yeah, I can't believe these aren't better supported on on the Mac. It's pretty bad.
That's effectively how it would look on iOS 9 too.
Yeah. Oh well. I'm sure it will. I'm sure it'll all iron itself out, or it won't. The Mac will just never be supported properly with it.
Right.
So anyway, I was going to say to you, you were right about Stranger Things. That's really good.
Oh yeah. It's fantastic. I haven't been that into a TV show in a long time.
Yeah, we kind of watched the first episode and we're like, oh, this is kind of interesting. Let's see what's going on. And then, by the end, we were just like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah, it kind of sneaks up on you a little bit like that. It's true. The first episode is really good, but it's towards the end of it that it really starts grabbing you. And then when I watched the second one, then I was just hooked. And I think I watched it in like over 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, it sounds like pretty much what we did.
Yeah, like 3 episodes a night type thing. It's a short one. They just announced they're doing a season 2.
Yeah, I did see that.
So that's out, and then there's you and I both were listening to the soundtrack. There's 2 volumes of soundtrack, Volume 1 and Volume 2. They're both on Apple Music. I don't know. I think they're exclusive to Apple Music.
I think in terms of streaming, but I bought them from iTunes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're pretty good. I thought they were good to work to because they're just they're that synthesizer, that kind of moody synthesizer music.
Yeah, definitely. I've been listening to a lot more soundtracks recently because I got a code with Rise of the Tomb Raider for that soundtrack.
Okay.
And I think I got the Uncharted 4 soundtrack as well. So I've been kind of just listening to game and TV show soundtracks for a while. These are really nice.
I got a good one for you. The iOS game called A Good Snowman is Hard to Find. I think you can find the soundtrack in Bandcamp, I believe. There's a link to it in the review I did on Mac Stories, and it's really nice soundtrack.
Cool.
I'm trying to think. There's at least a couple of soundtracks that I've really liked in some of the iOS games I've been trying, and that's definitely like one of the best.
Yeah, maybe I'll add that to my list.
Yeah, you can stream it from Bandcamp, or you can buy it for like a suggested $5 or something like that, I think.
I'd probably just buy it because it's easier.
Yeah, it is easier, and then it just does. Then you don't have to go to have a special app or go to a website. Because who wants to really go to a website these days, right? Am I right?
What's a website? Is that like an app? What is it?
Some people work on those things for a living, I hear. So anyway,
last week's or last episode's title, "All John All the Time," was kind of a joke.
Yeah,
and then you were on. Well, you were everywhere this week.
I popped up a couple places.
Yeah, you were on Mac Voices, talking about streaming services.
Yeah.
And then Jeremy roped you into emoji chat for a little bit the other day.
So yeah, Chuck Joyner just invited me to talk about streaming services along with Peter Cohen, and it was fun. I mean, I was getting over a cold, so it was hard to get through. And I had never done video, and I am not a fan of doing video podcasts. I got to say, it was a little disconcerting. It's hard to know where to look. I mean, you want to look at the little squares floating in front of your face, but then you look like you're looking down the whole time. So, I tried to look here and there and then at the top of the screen, and I don't know. That was a little disconcerting, but it was fun and we had a good time. And then I guess it was, I don't know, maybe Thursday, I think, last week. I was just sitting in Starbucks waiting for the train and doing some writing, and Jeremy just sent me an invite to work on or to talk about emoji on the talk show, which I'd never done before, the talk show app. And so I said yes, and it was just a good way to procrastinate, not do my work. I did it while I was sitting there. I got on the train. I did it some more on the train. I did it as I was walking through the station and annoying all the people around me. And then by the time I got to work, we were finished.
Yeah, that was fun. I kind of saw it pop up, and I opened it up, and was following along. And of course, the worst part about it is you can't interact with it on the website. So I'm sat in front of my computer with it up on my screen, and I've still got to get the app out if I want to, comment or add questions and stuff like that, which was kind of frustrating.
Yeah, that's a little unfortunate. We didn't have too many questions, but Jeremy did add Casey Liss and Stephen Hackett, and we, between the 4 of us, chatted about emoji. And fortunately, I had written about emoji a couple of times recently, so I had a few things to say. I'm not like an expert on emoji or anything like Jeremy is, but I know a few things.
So you got a blue tick, John. You are verified John Voorhees.
I know, it's the real me. It's the real deal. Yeah, I did. I was a little surprised. I just set up a recurring reminder in to reapply every 30 days after rejection. And I took kind of I'd actually listened to a few people talk about what they had done in terms of what they had written in their reasons why you should be verified. I think they talked about it on Reconcilable Differences, Merlin and John Siracusa, and then on ATP, and then on Analog. And Casey Liss's approach seemed to be a good one to me, so I took that, which was basically when I first applied and was rejected, Mac Stories hadn't been verified yet, and neither had Relay FM. So I just took the approach of, hey, I've published stuff on both these verified sites, and I use my personal account to kind of promote this stuff. So I think it should be verified too. That's really about all it was, and that seemed to work.
Yeah, I mean, I got rejected again, last week or something, but I'll probably give it another go. And do you know, I'm friends with, I do a podcast with John Voorhees. He's verified.
Yeah, there you go.
That's probably what I'm going to go for and see if that works.
Yeah, we should maybe get the podcast verified. I think they would probably do that. I don't know. The whole thing's kind of silly, but it does have some utility. So, I mean, I guess I'm happy that I did it. But it's the whole thing's weird. I feel I do have the distinction of being almost the person with the fewest followers who's verified. I think that's starting to change. I think what they're doing. I thought I might have an outside chance, mainly because when I did my second application, I had noticed that they had started kind of dipping into the people in the single 1,000-digit number followers type thing, because before that it was mostly people who had at least 10,000 plus. That sort of thing. So it's definitely there's hope for everybody since I was verified, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of what we said, I guess last episode or the episode before when we spoke about the system for getting verified, there's clearly still some weirdness there because I think Stephen Hackett got rejected again this week.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that, he's essentially, in terms of what he uses Twitter for, it's kind of the same as Mike. He runs Relay, does podcasts.
Right.
He also has his own website where he writes. Like, it seems like, that would be an easy pick for somebody to get verified. But, I guess it probably depends who's getting, like, which person has to deal with the verification. But yeah, there's still some weirdness. But as you say, it seems like they're opening it up a little bit more now. Yeah,
the main difference I've seen is just there was... at least initially, there was a kind of a flood in of new followers because I guess there are people who check and see who's verified and who's not, and then or maybe look at the verified account that follows everybody who's verified, and then follow those people. I don't know, but other than that, not much to it.
No, definitely not.
So, what should we talk about next, Rob? Maybe Instapaper?
Yeah, let's do it.
I almost said Instagram, but Instapaper got bought by Pinterest, which struck me. I totally didn't see that coming. It was really out of left field. I mean, what did you think about it?
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. I mean, because this was still owned by BetaWorks at this point.
Yep.
Yeah, so it was still owned by them who, if you don't know, they bought it off of Marco Arment a few years ago. They were still doing a lot of updates for the app and the website and making improvements. Seemed like everything was going great. But, of course, we don't know, if anybody was paying for it kind of month to month because once they took it over, they added search as a free feature and then you kind of get full text search as a paid feature. Right. And I wonder maybe if they just weren't getting enough people paying for it or, maybe Pinterest just offered them a lot of money, which is a perfectly good reason to sell.
Yeah, maybe. It's interesting. I think BetaWorks did a great job with the app because they did a lot of things that I remember hearing Marco talk about were very hard to do, which is understandable. I mean, they added a highlighting feature, and when you think about it, to get that highlighting to work is really difficult and stick to the same text because people can pick different font sizes and different fonts, and might turn it landscape or portrait. So it's really hard to get that stuff to stick. And you can do notes and comments to different passages and highlighting. It became a pretty good research tool on top of just a read it later service. And not that long ago, maybe 6 months ago, maybe a little longer, they came out with an API, which is basically a text parser. And the text parser, it sounded as though it maybe didn't have all that many customers, but it was pretty cool. And I was just actually looking not that long ago at possibly using it to build an app, and 2 days later, literally, they sold the app to Pinterest along with the parser, and they shut down the API. I think at the end of maybe it was the end of August, maybe it's the end of September that they're shutting it down. Which it strikes me that probably that's what Pinterest is interested in, because it's not well known, but they have their own read it later service. They have a way of saving articles as pins.
Right.
And I think that parser, which was originally developed by Marco and then extended by BetaWorks, is pretty darn good. I mean, it's been tested over many years now, and my guess is that that's what Pinterest wanted more than anything, because that's why, and also why they shut down the parser API, which that's to me was the clue, is that they shut that down. So we'll see if that's the case. Plus the people who worked there at BetaWorks who worked on Instapaper went to Pinterest, which all of which just kind of says to me they were looking at the engineering talent and the technology and the parser, which does make me a little concerned that maybe Instapaper isn't going to last long term, but hopefully it will.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see it stay around because I still use it. It's I've used it probably for the last 5 or 6 years. And, I really just don't want it to disappear. But, looking at everything, so they've, been bought out by a big, web company. They've shut down the API. I think maybe 12 months, and then they're going to, just the Instapaper will disappear as it is. And they'll say, "Oh, come and migrate over to Pinterest and do it there." I really think that's what we're going to end up with.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me too much. I mean, people get freaked out about this kind of stuff, and first of all, the people, BetaWorks doesn't really owe anybody anything. Everybody bought like a $5 app or whatever, and if they want to sell it, it's their app. They can sell it. I don't begrudge them that at all. And there are alternatives. There are plenty of alternatives, and they're good alternatives. I think Pocket. A lot of people use Pocket. I've never used it. I know Federico uses it. And if Instapaper goes away, I'll just check that out probably.
Yeah, I've tried it a couple of times. I kind of ended up sticking with Instapaper, but yeah, I mean, there's plenty of services, as you say. There's Pocket. There's, I think, Read It Later is probably still a thing. The actual service called Read It Later.
Is that from Readability?
Possibly, yeah.
Because I just read that Readability is shutting down.
Oh, okay. Well, that one's not around then.
So don't suggest that one. I don't know if that app is still around, but I know that they're shutting down the API very soon.
All right. Well, let's go with Pocket then as our that's the alternative for now.
Yeah, they may have open sourced the API, but the company is going out of business.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it does bum me out a little bit because Instapaper is the one third-party app that's been on my home screen since day one, basically, since the App Store opened. It's been kind of a constant for me, and I don't use it as much as I used to, but I still like it. I mean, I keep folders in there for like development articles that I want to read later, or I have a Mac Stories one. So if there's anything I see that's interesting that I should read, I put it in there, and I have just kind of a more general interest fold. I usually have about 3 folders that I like to use, and I go through it every now and then.
Well, I mean, I think they do have an export tool still, so hopefully, you can use that if you need to move away or something and turn it into something searchable. But yeah.
Well, I guess we should probably move on. You want to talk about the App Store a little bit? We got kind of some interesting news this week in terms of, they're going to Apple's going to clean out all the old apps, not really all the old apps, but all the broken apps, which is, to me, is fantastic news.
Yeah, and this is one of the biggest reasons I just avoid the App Store. Like, unless I see somebody actually recommend an app, searching through the App Store is just a complete nightmare. There's so many apps that don't support the iPhone 6 screen size, or I've even seen a couple that didn't support the iPhone 5 for a while. Mm-hmm. As you say, crashing on launch, or they just don't work anymore. Even if as they say, they're just going to remove any apps that crash on launch. I mean, that's going to take out a significant chunk of the apps, I think, in the store.
Yeah, I think it will. I mean, what's interesting, if you read the post on the developer site, it's pretty blunt and pretty direct. I think that they really mean business with this. Given that there are 2 million apps in the App Store, it's going to take Apple a long time to go through them. My guess is that one of the reasons I think we have short review times now is there's a lot more automation going on than in the past. And my guess is that first things first, they'll send all the apps through whatever automated systems they have to find out if there are, crashers on launch and that sort of thing. And those will be the first to get pulled off the store. And then there may be, a deeper review for things that are not easily detectable, on an automated basis.
Yeah, definitely. I really like the line at the end of one of the paragraphs where it says, we've got a lot of developers that work really hard and they don't want to be surrounded by amateur hour. I mean, that's just such a great line to stick in there.
Yeah, and I say this as someone who's got an app that's going to probably get pulled in this, which is my Volcano app for the Bionic podcast way back when. Sure. I've left it on the store, but I have not upgraded it for the iPhone 6 screen sizes.
Yeah, and I think it's reasonable that gets taken off at some point because, the iPhone 5 is not, or that kind of size phone is not really a current phone anymore. And, I think it's reasonable for them to expect an app to support the newer screen sizes.
Yep, and it's going to force me to actually decide whether I want to keep it on the store or not. I mean, the reason I haven't done it is because it's got a lot of UI elements, and it's just it takes more time to change the UI for that app than it does to deal with the underlying code, which is super, super simple. And it's a free app, so it's not really, there's not a lot of incentive there. So I probably should just take it off the store myself. Maybe I will.
And I'm sure there's not many people relying on it in their day-to-day work.
No, it's not. It's not probably bothering too many people, but I have gotten a couple of comments from people saying, when are you going to update this for the screen sizes? And I get it, but it's also it's not really, it's just a free app, so sorry.
Yeah, it's like an in-joke from 4 years ago.
Right, exactly. It's amazing. There's still, a couple of people a day who download it. I'm not sure what they think they're getting. I'm not sure how many new listeners to Bionic there are at this point. I should ask Mike or Matt at some point, but who knows? Yeah.
So, did you watch this trailer for ReCore, which is a new game coming out?
I did. I really liked it.
Yeah, it looks great. I hadn't heard about it until about a week ago, and the Xbox UK Twitter account they changed their name to ReCore for the day, and they were posting loads of different stuff. They're obviously pushing this quite hard because it's a Microsoft Studios game.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty big game. I mean, I saw a lot of links to the trailer over the past week, and I'm pretty sure not all of them were from you.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of people interested, but I think in the general, from what I've seen elsewhere, kind of on forums and things like that, mostly like Reddit, PS4, the Xbox subreddit and things like that, people just aren't that excited about it, which is really strange to me because I watched this trailer and I was like, oh my God, I've got to get this game.
What do you know about it? I mean, I watched the trailer and it's basically like a female lead character that is on what looks like kind of a desolate planet with some robot sidekicks, right?
Yeah, so the premise of this, I don't think this was in the launch trailer, but there was another trailer they did. And the premise is basically she is there. I think her name's Jewel. And she is on this planet. She's been frozen for 200 years. And the robots were supposed to have terraformed the planet so it was livable. And of course, in true sci-fi fashion, they did not. They've become evil and they're just destroying everything. So you play this dual character, and you've got like a little robot dog, and there's a couple of other little robots that you can use, and the main part of it is the core, like the spherical kind of glowing thing in each robot,
right?
And you can the core is their personality, I guess, and you can kind of move it into different styles of robot during the game.
No, okay.
And there's a lot of like, it's got shooting, it's got platforming, it says it's got kind of dungeon, like I guess like a Tomb Raider kind of thing. You go into the dungeons and solve the little puzzle and then carry on.
Right.
So yeah, I'm really excited about this game.
Yeah, no, it looks good. I mean, there have not been that many games that are exclusive to Xbox that have really gotten me excited. And this one is one that, if Xbox came out with maybe another game or two that was like this, I would probably get myself an Xbox One too.
Yeah, definitely. And I think there was a new trailer just came out. Not trailer, but it's kind of 10 or 15 minutes of gameplay from one of these game conferences that's going on right now.
Okay.
So we'll pop a link in the show notes, and I might have a little watch of that after we've finished recording.
Yeah,
probably not watch all of it because I don't want to spoil anything. But
yeah, there's a PAX going on, I think, right? PAX West, maybe.
That's the one. Yeah, that's what's happening.
Yeah, I saw that pop up on Twitter. I'm not an expert on that stuff, but yeah. The other one on Xbox that I'm looking forward to is Cupheads, which is like a 1930s Looney Tunes style cartoon, platformer type game, which looks really good. And I hope that I hope that it comes to other platforms at some point. I would think that it would. It's not like made by Microsoft or anything.
Yeah, I think we've mentioned that a couple of times before, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one as well. So yeah, quite a few games. I've still got a pretty big backlog to get through.
Yeah,
I'm still playing Rise of the Tomb Raider at the moment. Probably got maybe 5 or 6 hours left of that.
I'm sorry. Did you get No Man's Sky?
I did not.
Okay.
Because if you remember when we spoke about it, I didn't even really know what it was until you sent me the video.
I was wondering what you thought about the backlash. There's been a lot of backlash, but I guess if you haven't played the game or seen the game, really, it's not really a fair question.
No, I've been paying attention to kind of the press and the backlash and stuff like that. And Shahid, host of Remaster, they had a little review episode, and that was kind of interesting to listen to. And he kind of tweeted the other day about people getting refunds after playing 50 hours. And he got, a lot of negativity, and because it's Twitter, a lot of abuse as well, which was awful. But I think I kind of agree with him. I mean, if you've played for 50 hours for a £40 game, I feel like you've had your money's worth, even if it was terrible.
Right.
Assuming we're not talking about crashes all the time, but if you've played for 50 hours, there's no way that game's that bad.
Right. I mean, there's a difference between whether it's broken, and I know on the PC there were serious bug issues. That's one thing. But if you go to and I think this point was even made on that episode of Remaster, which was if you go to a movie and you're like, oh, this really wasn't something I like, you don't get your money back because you didn't like the movie.
No,
you don't get
exactly.
You don't get a refund because it's not to your taste. So, and I think that's unfortunately what's happening. People are just taking advantage of the situation.
Yeah, definitely. And I think this was something that I tweeted about vaguely related, but there was an article about pre-ordering games. There's literally no need to pre-order a game at this point. Not in 2016, you just don't need to pre-order a game. Places don't run out of stock and things like that.
Well, what they do is they entice you by giving you special DLC and skins and all sorts of stuff like that. Believe me, I know. I have a 12-year-old who likes to pre-order games because of all the special weapons he can get.
Oh yeah, I understand how they're getting people to pre-order. But for me, even ReCore, it looks amazing in the trailers. I'm really excited about it. I'm not going to pre-order it. I'm going to wait until release day, or whenever the embargo is for the reviews.
Right.
Because they've definitely sent out review copies. I'll read a couple of reviews, probably, watch like an IGN review on YouTube. And then if I really want it, I can either, go to the shop and just pick it up because it will be around, or I can just order it on Amazon.
Yeah. Is there a release date for it yet?
Yeah, I think it's in like 2 weeks. I think it's maybe on the 16th it comes out.
Did this just come out of nowhere? I mean, because usually you hear about games a lot further in advance than this.
It definitely feels like this just came out of nowhere.
Yeah. I mean, I know
like
I
I say, the Microsoft account or the Xbox UK account, this was maybe a week or two ago, were really heavily promoting it. But until that point, I think maybe I'd seen mention of it, but nothing too interesting. So
yeah, that is interesting. Well, we'll have to see how it goes. I mean, I'm with you. I don't see any reason to pre-order stuff. I'm not in such a big hurry that I have to play it at midnight the day that it's launched.
No, I mean, especially if you're in a Prime Now area, I could have this delivered within an hour anyway.
Sure, video games are one of the main uses for Prime Now. I mean, that's one of the things that they have because they're small, they're easy to store in whatever local warehouse, and they're close by. So that's one of the best things to do for that.
Yeah, definitely.
So we got a big week coming up this week on the Apple front. I just thought we're not going to go into a bunch of stuff about this, but I was just curious what you're looking forward to this week.
Yeah, so for me, I mean, there's two real things I'm properly waiting for that I will buy. Is the Macs and a possible 4K Apple TV. I've not seen any rumors about this really. I think it's fair to assume we're going to get a 4K Apple TV at some point, but whether that's going to be this week or in an October event or something like that, who knows? But those are the two things, and I don't think either of those are coming on Wednesday.
Yeah, I bet we're not going to see a 4K Apple TV for quite a while. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's a cost thing because it'll eat into the margins, but it almost feels like maybe Apple will wait until they have something bigger to announce on the service side as well. Like some sort of skinny package or whatever people call them these days. Where you can pay $10 or $20 a month and get a certain number of channels and ditch your cable. And by the way, all these channels are going to be in 4K. You know what I mean? Something like that.
Sure. Yeah.
Sorry to disappoint you, but I just don't see that coming for a while.
Oh no! I mean, I'm well aware that this is very unlikely. But I'm waiting till Wednesday, and if there is no 4K Apple TV, which there probably won't be, I'm going to be getting an Amazon Fire TV box. But I think really the problem, as you say, like, are Apple going to do it? Are they not? There just isn't that much 4K content. I mean, we were talking about this just before we recorded, and Netflix, all of their original shows, or most of them, are in 4K, and Amazon Prime have all of their TV shows are, and they've got some like mastered in 4K versions of films like Ghostbusters and Men in Black, but there's just not that much content available for it, and I don't think an Apple TV that supports 4K is a really good sell for for Apple, because it's pretty much just Netflix content. Movies aren't really, if I'm understanding everything Joe and Dan have spoken about, like, most movies aren't really in 4K. You're not getting a lot of benefit out of a lot of this.
Right. Which makes me wonder about those movies on Amazon, because I suspect it's a little bit like the transition from DVD to Blu-ray in that, when that happened, a lot of movies were remastered for Blu-ray, but all they're really doing is just copying the DVD resolution over to Blu-ray. So it's on a Blu-ray disc, but there's no extra resolution there.
Yeah, I think what I'll probably do to test this out, and we can maybe talk about it on the next episode, is I'll watch... I think they've got Men in Black 2 on there, and the third one. I'll maybe watch one of those. Probably Men in Black 2, because it's a little bit older, and I'm kind of curious. I'll have a watch of that in 4K and report back, because, again, they don't do any of the special effects in 4K. I think,
right.
Even newer movies, they mostly as far as I'm understanding. I'm sure Joe will email me if I'm wrong. They mostly do it in like 2K, and then it kind of gets downscaled to 1080p or whatever. So yeah, I'll try it out. But yeah, I think the lack of content available for 4K is probably the reason that Apple aren't going to do it anytime soon.
Yeah, the other thing I'd be interested in knowing is what the penetration in people's homes is of 4K. Like, what percentage of the population has a 4K TV? Because I don't know. I suspect it's fairly low still.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really taken till this year for the TVs to kind of be at an affordable level.
Right.
Because I remember I was looking at TVs kind of last year, and 4K TVs were still up in the kind of, £1,000 range. 800 to £1,000, and the one I've just bought, although it's a kind of cheaper brand anyway, was £300-400. But they're still they're cheaper, but they're still expensive. So yeah, I mean, you're probably right. Probably not that many people have even got TVs that could use a 4K Apple TV.
It takes a while for people to turn over their TVs too. I mean, I think the TV we had in our living room was up there for about probably 10 years. And then I got a new, nicer LED TV. And, I've only had it up there for, maybe it's been 3 or 4 years, at most, but it's works perfectly well. So I don't see myself going to 4K for quite a while. I suppose gaming could change that before anything else. But I don't think that we're going to have, though. I'm not even sure we're going to have the horsepower in the next generation to really have 4K. I know that there's talk of 4K support, but at least isn't it Microsoft? They're only going to have 4K support for content and, like movies and things and not games, or at least in that interim box that they're preparing.
To be honest, I don't know. Just because if I look at it, I want it. So I've kind of been avoiding it a little bit because, I think as you say, gaming is probably the one that's going to push it forward, if anything. But I still think that's going to take 3 or 4 years before it's a reasonable kind of selling point for a lot of people.
That's a lot of Ks to push.
All the great Ks.
You're just like Matt Alexander now. You have a 4K TV.
I do.
You're like the 2 people in the world that I know with a 4K TV who are willing to admit it publicly.
Yeah. So yeah, we talked about that. But so Max and Apple TV. I know you said you were waiting for one for Owen because he's holding off on his Mac.
Yeah, he's got an Air, a 13-inch Air that he's had for about 4 years. And so he just went off to college and could use a Retina MacBook Pro, something with a little more horsepower, but he's waiting until the new ones come out. And, at least the rumors are that none of those are going to come out this coming week. So I don't know what to think about it. I mean, I don't care that much about the MacBooks just because I don't need one, but I understand that a lot of people really do. I was holding out forever for a new MacBook, and I finally just caved and bought one last summer when they did a very small speed bump, I think, at one point early last summer, and I got that because I'd been working on a 2009 MacBook before that and really, really needed a computer. So I'm going to stick with mine for a while yet.
So the iPhone, are you going to be upgraded? I mean, you have Bluetooth headphones already. We've spoken about this before. I assume you're going to be upgrading.
I think so. I'm getting things prepared because one of the problems I've always had is that I had a corporate account for my phone, and as a result, I had to go through like purchasing group at my work in order to get a new phone, and they're not willing to get up at midnight and order me a phone when they go on sale online. And so what I think I will do, what I've done is I actually looked, and AT&T, the phone carriers are terrible because they don't tell you what they change the plans from time to time. They don't really, if you can save money, they don't really highlight that for you. So I went in and was looking at all the options, and they make it complicated. But I was looking at basically right now I've got my family on a family plan, and I'm separate on a corporate plan. And I looked at the family plan, and I actually found I could save a decent amount of money every year by switching their plan, and also get more data that way too. So I did that. I set that up, so they're all set. And then what I'm going to do is separate myself from the corporate account and put myself in the family plan, I think, and then do that. I may do that program where you can just pay a monthly. It's like financing or leasing your phone. You just pay a flat amount each month to Apple, and you get Apple Care plus your phone, and every 12 months you can upgrade it to the latest and greatest. So that's what I think I may do, because I did find out it's not going to cost me a lot to separate from the corporate account, even though I've only had my 6 Plus for a year. I thought that was good. They were going to give me some kind of contract, breakage penalty or something, but I think I had a better deal being on a corporate account, so it's not a big deal. The big deal is that I have unlimited data on my corporate account. And I have to get rid of that. So it has to be really worth it. And that makes me, but what I can't do is I can't tether either on the account I'm on. And that would be handy to have once in a while. So I don't know. I think I'm going to do it. It's a long way of saying I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to go on to the family plan and get myself probably a 7 Plus. I really like what I'm seeing in terms of the rumors with the dual camera and that sort of thing, because I do use the camera a lot, and I do love the big screen. I mean, I've been a big convert to the Plus Club. I really enjoyed the 6 Plus. Yeah,
so I was kind of looking into it this week, trying to decide on what I'm going to do, because I have the headphone problem.
Yep.
Because I really don't want to use an adapter. So if I get a new phone, I'm going to have to get Bluetooth headphones. And then I just got exhausted and tired and went, oh, forget it. I'm just not going to upgrade. I'm just going to keep my phone for another year.
Yeah, no, I get that.
I think I'm just going to see how it all shakes out with, adapters, and see who's releasing new Bluetooth headphones. Because I think, obviously, this will push the manufacturers to kind of up their game and with their Bluetooth headphones. I'm not that bothered about a new phone, really, because I don't use my phone all that much, which we've mentioned before. So yeah, it's kind of a relief as well, because I don't have to think about it. I haven't got to get up and pre-order. I don't have to do any of that stuff.
Right. No, I thought of you this week when Nexus phones started exploding, and your comment that you were going to go to Android, and I'm glad to see that you weren't among the exploding people. That's a cheap shot, I know.
No, it was the Samsung phones, by the way, not the Nexus. Yeah, but
oh, sorry. You're right. It's Samsung Note 7, right?
That's right. Yeah,
the one with the stylus.
That's it. So, yeah. I mean, I kind of still stick to what I said. I still kind of agree with what I said. Like, I feel like if Apple were the only ones doing this, I probably would go Android. But looking at the state of the market with the new phones that are coming out, a lot of the manufacturers are getting rid of the headphone jack.
Yep.
So I think this is just a thing now. Like, this is just how it is.
Well, I think
I'm just going to give it a year to shake out and see how it goes.
Yeah, I think this is going to accelerate the process probably, and make other manufacturers more comfortable to do it. Maybe if that's what we actually see. It doesn't bother me that much, just because yes, I've kind of made the plunge into Bluetooth headphones, and there are compromises for sure when you have Bluetooth. I think one of the problems that hopefully this gets worked out in the standard, but one of the hardest things with Bluetooth is it's just not that easy to switch devices. Like, if I have my Bluetooth headphones paired with my phone, there's no, it won't, if I go then into my iPad or my computer or whatever and try to switch it, it normally won't just switch over. If I pick it out of a list, I have to actually, detach it from the phone first, or turn off Bluetooth on the phone, which then now my watch isn't paired anymore, and then do it on the, you know what I mean? It's complicated and cumbersome process to switch between devices. Whereas with a 3.5 millimeter jack, all you have to do is plug it in.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's one of the other problems I've got is, I use it on the way to work, and then I get to work and I switch from my phone to my laptop, and, it's just too much hassle, and I just can't be bothered at this point. So,
right.
So I'm not upgrading, but yeah.
All right. Well, was there anything else about this week that you're up for? It's going to be a busy one for me. I'm going to be doing the event live with the rest of the Mac Stories crew, so that should be a lot of fun. This is my first really big Apple event. We did one in the spring, but this is my first fall event with those guys.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds cool. I'll just be following along doing that. Obviously, the Apple Events app has been updated on the Apple TV. I think it was the other day. Yeah, I couldn't see it in my recent updates, but the icon has changed to the little, the however you say it, the little bubbly, like the invite.
Yeah. Did you see that?
So that has changed.
Did you see that the Daily Mail picked up Federico's tweet?
Yeah, that was hilarious.
It was great. They didn't use his name, but he had taken, he had just gone in and put a box around two of the little, out of focus circles, and said that it was evidence that there was going to be a dual camera. And the Daily Mail in the UK picked up on it and said that Apple watchers have said that this confirms there'll be a dual camera. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because they've basically what's happened there is they've completely missed out on this like in joke of, people are over analyzing the invite, and they've just run a story. That was hilarious.
Yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that.
So, anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Covers it.
You know what we should do, Rob, is we should ask people if they enjoy the show to go rate it and maybe leave a review. Rating it is just fine. Maybe, give us some stars, because it does make a difference and helps people find the show if it kind of floats to the surface. So that'd be cool if people could do that. Yeah,
if you're listening in Overcast, recommend as well.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That's always all helpful. Or, share the show on Twitter, Facebook, whatever your social network of choice is. That's always nice. So yeah, I think that's probably about it. You're going to have a busy week, and then we're going to be back in 2 weeks.
Yep, we can talk about all that's occurred, so that'll be fun. You can find me at John Voorhees on Twitter, and Rob is...
I am at RMLewisUK.
All right, great.
Speak to you later.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.